Listen here, Pumpkin. Did you ever ask yourself why is it that most of these Egyptian statues in Egypt they all have their noses just cut off randomly? Why is that, bro? This is what we're gonna be seeing in this video right here.
That's just why they chopped those noses off of the Pharaoh and the Sphinx in Egypt in the first place, is because
Cat Williams is dropping hidden knowledge again.
This guy just left us on a freaking
He's one of the few who
cliffhanger.
gives us a peek behind the curtain, where real knowledge is kept from the many and shared with only a few. The insights he shares in this video are definitely eye-opening. Wow, truly mind-blowing.
it doesn't matter because everybody in Egypt knew it. None of those people are saying, hey, I came up with this. The more you know how little you know.
The more you know.
Listen, here's the thing, right? The reason why I'm getting into all these like ancient civilizations, especially ancient Egypt, is because you understand like these civilizations, they knew more about the world than us. They knew more about how to live in the world more harmoniously, to take out technologies more than us. So we think because we have an iPhone, because we have a camera, because we have electricity and all these things, we're like, oh, we're so advanced. We have skyscrapers. We have planes. Nah, bro. People back in the day, they knew way more than you and me. So let's see what they know.
The more you know how little you know. This hits especially hard after watching the entire video. Cat dives into depths that might just scare you, realizing that if what he's saying is indeed true, then it's time for us to start making some changes. Let's dive in.
None of those people, none of them picked a bad place ever. That's when you understand that there's a grid. Yeah. Because nobody's holy people pick bad spots. No. Everybody understood certain things about the area, and long before they had x-ray machines. And if you just went by that in the whole world, you would start to understand like the true power of the Vatican and the fact that certain things are based on real shit.
Now, hold on.
Wait. You understand also why the Kaaba itself is actually like it's a very important place. Like, yeah, it's the place where Prophet Ibrahim built it and made a prayer over it, and now everybody's doing like Hajj and Umrah in Kaaba. But that's not just the only reason, you know that, right? The reason why the Kaaba is so powerful because of the energy around it, the electromagnetic field around it. Certain places on Earth, the electromagnetic field within that place is way stronger than other places. So just the fact that you would go, you'll be charged up. That's why even, by the way, like Palestine, it's a place that's holy because of that. And they've built the pyramids in certain spots of the world because of that. Like, this is actually pretty powerful stuff, by the way.
Because what he's about to reveal barely scratches the surface. Yet it'll start to make sense. The Vatican, much like the pyramids, isn't just randomly placed. It's a breathtaking sight, rich with symbolism and secrets hidden in plain sight, which many of you might already recognize. But did you know that what's visible to us is merely the tip of the iceberg? The specific location of the Vatican is no mere coincidence. Now, think. What other iconic place was deliberately situated and is even more famous than the Vatican?
Do you think Beverly Hills was, you think this was an area they built on purpose? Yeah. Was. Hollywood is not really...
Listen, you know what this is getting into, man? So, there is... this is some crazy stuff right here. They say there is some theories, right? Where they were like, the Jews, as soon as they entered the US way back then, this is all hidden history. No one ever talks about this. As soon as they went to the US, they knew that this was the actual promised land. They saw all the big trees, then they were like, cut all the big trees. So that's why if you go through, you'll see images back before the 1800s. Somehow there's images, but it's all big trees. To the point that even if someone is standing next to the big tree, it's like, wait, how is this tree is way bigger than the trees that we have right now? And it's just because they say this is the land of deception. Some say that this was the Garden of Eden. The west of the US is actually the garden, is theories. They say it's the Garden of Eden, and this is why the biggest company in the US, which one is it? Apple, the bitten apple. And now everybody is using the iPhone because of that. Like, why is it that the icon is a bitten apple? They say it's because this is the symbol that Shaitan used to deceive Adam alayhi salam. And now everybody, the children of Adam, they're all using that same device. And what do you use to sin? Like, what's the root of sin? iPhone. You want to go have a drink? Go to your iPhone. You want to go meet up and do zina? Go and use your iPhone. You want to go and watch pornography? Go and use your iPhone. All of that stuff. And so even Hollywood, like, this is some crazy stuff, bro.
There to entertain you. Like, that's great that happens, but...
If you think about it, Los Angeles is a curious name, translating to the angels in English, which already sets a mystical tone. Then there's Hollywood, a name that really makes you think when you break it down. Holly and wood. Jordan Maxwell often discussed this, explaining that the name derives from the Druids who used a piece of wood from a holly tree to make their scepters. While I'm not saying it's outright magic, when you consider what Hollywood does, how it alters perceptions, changes beliefs.
Habibi, the US is the land of deception. The US is the land of magic. You'll see anybody that goes to the US, the very first thing that's going to happen is that they're going to prosper in the dunya world. That's the first thing. No matter who you are, you could be the dumbest person. Even if you're living in the ghetto, you're still living way better than other people that are living in third world countries. But it's the land of deception because it's the land where magic started. You understand that? Like, back in the day, the world wasn't like different continents. It was just Pangea. And magic, it all started all the way in the US. And then that's why you'll see everything that's coming from the US, all of it is just deception. This is why I was talking, I'm like bro, the globe Earth and stuff, where did that come from? Straight from the US, straight from NASA. Now everybody else is copying it. The Hollywood, where did that come from? Straight from the US. Photoshop, where did that come from? Straight from the US. Like, Disney, where did it come from? Straight from the US. All these lies, they all came from the US. So it makes you think it's like this land, there's just something within this land, and the thing that's within this land is that it's the land of the shaitan. Theories,
and sets trends through our TVs and movies. It all starts to make a strange kind of sense.
That's what I'm saying. Nobody's telling any crazy stories, my man. Not globally. Yeah. A lot of times it turns out that they were right, that no, we couldn't have told people this because, yeah, they would have went and this would have happened and that would have happened. And you can start to see that.
If you listen closely to the podcast, you'll notice how reserved Cat Williams is. He seems eager to share more but chooses his words carefully, aware of the potential impact. But the part that follows is absolutely jaw-dropping. You sense he's telling the truth, yet you might still find yourself searching for explanations to make it all seem less extreme. But what if? What if it really is as wild as it sounds? What if he's exactly right about what he's saying? Let's listen to Kat.
You don't care how people feel about the ritual. It's about does following the ritual work. You can fool yourself into thinking there isn't one, but the evidence will be clear. So like when I be like, oh, these guys are wearing dresses. And everybody's like, oh, he keeps talking about people wearing dresses. No, it's not.
That is a weird thing.
It's not like that. Look at it from a different way. Show me one person that ever wore a dress in Hollywood unsuccessfully. That's how you understand what a ritual is. So 20 years ago, I knew that was going to be a thing. It wasn't because I understood that the earliest I had seen that word was Baphomet, the gender.
Let's just say it's the transgender. It's the transgender, bro. You do realize this whole transgender stuff, it's not something new, man. This thing has been going on. So it's not like something that started recently. This stuff has been going on, Habibi. And why has it been going on? It's because of the promise of Shaitan to Allah. He said that I will change the creation of Allah. And this is a promise that he made. And he's doing it right now. He'll invert everything. Everything. This is why I say anything that's coming from the US, anything that you see on the TV, look at it and just say the opposite is the true thing.
And so I knew that in the ritual of Baphomet, the gender, to show allegiance to him, you had to kiss his.
Really?
And it said both of those things. So I knew that both of those things would become popular in the future. Calling people the goat would be normalized over the sheep being always the most popular reference.
I warned you this might get a bit wild, but think about it. You've seen it on TV all the time. Remember Dave Chappelle's incident with the dress? Here it is for those who aren't familiar.
I mean, I'm a conspiracy theorist to a degree. Like, when I connect dots that maybe shouldn't be connected, I don't know. But certain dots, like when I see that they put every black man in the movies in a dress at some point in their career, I'll be connecting them dots like, wow, these brothers gotta wear a dress. That's happened to me. I'm doing a movie with Martin. Yeah. The movie's going good. So I walk in the trailer. I'm like, man, this must be the wrong trailer because there's a dress in here.
And let's not forget about Kevin Hart.
Dave Chappelle, another great comedian, said that, you know, in the industry, they tried to make him wear a dress. Have you ever ran into that with scripts? And is that something that, you know, you wouldn't do, you know, for...
I definitely haven't ran into to put on a dress. I mean, you know, you have to have boundaries. You have to have limits that you refuse to cross.
There are more discussions like these.
What? This guy's like, you gotta have boundaries that you refuse to cross, and then he goes and wears a dress? By the way, we're still thinking, why the heck are the noses of pharaohs have been cut off? This guy still hasn't got to the point.
So there must be some truth there, right? Now, the part about the ritual and Baphomet really scares me. If there's any truth to this, we are screwed. Big thanks to Cat Williams for daring to voice these truths. We're about to dive into the chopped noses part. But first, let's hear what Cat has to say to Joe about the Illuminati.
That's why I can speak with impunity about the Illuminati, because I know who you would have to be in order for what I'm saying to bother you, number one. Right. Number two, I know your big secret. I know that you're not the Illuminati, I am. So, you can't be illuminated. You're too dark. But the difficulty is getting people to believe something that they don't want to believe. And in each of these cases, this is where the money is.
Cat speaks in a way that's both intelligent and cryptic, targeting those in the audience who have already gone down the rabbit hole and grasp the deeper meanings of his words. Tyrese Gibson even called Cat Williams a prophet.
Cat Williams, Jesus, did he break the internet?
Now listen, this guy's not a prophet. That's the first thing. It's just, I think when you get into too deep into this whole conspiracy theory things, by the way, all this conspiracy theory stuff, man, it's the theory at first until it becomes a reality. That's what most of these theories are. Whenever you see any of these things, like for example, think of any conspiracy theory in the past. Hasn't it all become true? Most of them all become true. So don't be thinking, oh, Mohammed now is becoming... Some guy on Twitter, he was like, Mohammed, your videos have been giving me schizophrenic vibes. I'm like, Habibi, what's schizophrenic vibes? All I'm trying to say is understand the truth. The truth is that the US is not the land that you think it is. It's all just the land of deception, bro. Look at the dollar. Why is there a pyramid on it? Literally, why is there a pyramid on it? Why is everything that's a lie, all of it is just coming from the US? Why is all Satanism symbols, all of it is just coming from the US? You need to be thinking of these things because you're understanding, because when you don't know who your enemy is and what your enemy is doing, can you really succeed over your enemy? You know your enemy is Shaitan. What is Shaitan doing? If you don't know what he's doing, you won't ever be able to succeed over him. You'll be deceived without you even knowing that you're being deceived. So this is why it's important to go through this stuff.
Oh, God. You know what his name is to me? His name is Prophet William. Prophet Cat Williams. We have gotten so used to the lie. The truth is uncomfortable.
He's not a prophet. Just so you know, he's not a prophet.
We live in a world right now where you fell in love with David Copperfield. You fell in love with the smoke. You have fell in love with who people appear to be. They don't want you to see the truth. They don't want to expose what's actually being said, what's actually being done, what's actually going on.
Indicating that many support him.
By the way, listen. Even if they come out and then they start telling you what's actually been happening, you won't even care. You won't even be like, oh, okay, because they're literally telling you what's happening. You're listening to songs, you're listening to music, as a Muslim especially. If you're a Muslim and you're still listening to music, what the heck are you doing, bro? You're listening to music and you're like, oh, but they're just using the Satanism stuff just because it's just they think it's cool. And you're still listening to it. They think it's cool? What the heck is wrong with you, bro? You're watching all these videos, you're watching all these movies, Netflix, TV, all these things, and you think, oh, it's okay, like, there's nothing okay about this. You understand, in order for Shaitan to succeed, to do his plan He's going to tell you what he's doing, and then he's going to go and do it. Why? Because he's trying to save himself on the day of judgment, even though that's obviously not going to happen. Because on the day of judgment, he's going to come to you and he's going to say, listen, I already told you that I'll be doing this to you. I told you, like, I'm doing this to you, but then you said, okay, that's cool. Okay, that's fine. This is in the Quran, by the way. So you need to understand all these images. And if you're not going to understand it, again, you'll be deceived without you even knowing that you're being deceived.
Though they might be too fearful to speak out due to the potential of losing everything, here comes the part where he explains why all the Pharaoh statues have their noses chopped off. Again, it makes you think.
You probably wonder, why do white people pay so much attention to black people if they don't like them? You would think if you didn't like something, why would you be paying attention to it? I don't pay attention to things I don't like. The liar knows what lie he told. You see what I'm saying? So even if I made it deceitful and I made you think that the answer is over here, but the answer is really over here, I'm still going to be looking over here. Me, the one that tricked, because I know this is the right answer. Black people have lost their identity, but our oppressors have not lost our identity. That's just why they chopped those noses off of the Pharaoh and the Sphinx in Egypt in the first place, is because without this nose, we can tell you this is whoever it is. But with that nose, it can only be. Why would somebody vandalize a whole face and only vandalize one part? Nobody wanted to knock an eye off or take an ear off or no chins missing. No, just the nose. Because it's a brand.
If you take a close look at the statues' faces, you can start to see the similarities Kat is talking about. Who knows? We live in an era where it's hard to know what to believe anymore, what's real and what isn't. We often just accept what the so-called experts, like major historians or scientists, tell us without a second thought. But I think it's healthy to have your beliefs challenged sometimes. I really admire Kat for what he stands for. We definitely need more people like him. However, it's not all doom and gloom. Watch how Kat...
Hold on, brother. Hold on, brother. You're telling me that the entire reason why they chopped off the noses of the Egyptian pharaohs is just because they're trying to hide that the pharaohs back in the day used to be black? They're African, bro. They're African, man. You ever seen an Egyptian? You ever seen an Algerian? You ever seen a Moroccan? They have the same noses. Habibi. Habibi. They have the same face structure because they're African. They came from the same land. And who said that Egyptians are not Africans? I never thought this would get into shaking my head, bro.
That wraps things up on a positive note.
That's why angels and devils freak me out. Because no one wants to believe that there's a Satan, that there's a devil.
You mean a bad and a good?
Yeah, not just a bad and a good, but an actual evil, malevolent force.
No, just start with bad and good.
Yes, bad and
okay,
good,
so
yeah.
if we started bad and good, then we understand what must be at the extremes of that.
Right.
Nobody's telling a different story. The fact that there is a God is the biggest conversation worldwide, but the truth of the matter is there is more reason for you to believe there is a God than there is for you to not. You have to understand that.
Obviously, I mean, think about it, right? Oranges are just packaged. How are they packaged and cut off just like that? Yeah, you might think, oh, because of the gene does this and does this and does that. Like, this creator is beautiful. This creator is put you in such a beautiful world. But again, they chopped their noses off because they didn't want people to know they were black. Habibi.
This thing serves no other purpose than to bring pleasure to this small group of beings.
Right.
And the fact that it already was set up to do that, the fact that it was already set up on this planet for there to be medicines for us to find and to utilize. And you see what I'm saying? It's like, it's not like, oh, yeah, so he made a cow. No, to make a cow, it means you had to also have made grass. And it means you would have had to have invented a whole new eating system for this animal, which was cud. And that means you would then have to have given him 3 stomachs to be able to, and you would have to have known that he was going to then emit a gas that was going to be necessary on the planet. Like,
it's clear that Cat Williams doesn't just entertain, he enlightens. His words challenge the status quo and invites us to question the narratives we've been fed. In a world brimming with information.
But that's beautiful, man. I mean, there is just so much proof that a God obviously exists. And it's so beautiful. Like, a cow is made and Allah has put multiple stomachs within it so it can digest the grass that it's eating. And then at the same time, like, you can take wool out of this cow, you can take food out of this cow, you can just create like leather out of this cow. This creation is beautiful. Like, everything in the world that you see, all of it works in harmony. Even the evil works in harmony with the good. Like, why is there wasps? Why is there, even like when you think about it, why is there salt within the ocean? Like, God has given us so much water and then yet put salt in it so we can't even drink it. So what's the point? But then you realize it's there to purify. You realize it's there because the world in of itself is a battery and you can extract energy from the world. It's beautiful. But I don't think they chopped off the noses of the mummies or the pharaohs of Egypt because they didn't want people to think that, yeah, the Egyptians were black. Nah, bro, Egyptians were African. They were African. Why did they chop off their nose? I don't freaking know, bro. But because they were black? Nah, man. Nah, bro.
Yet starved for wisdom. Cat's insights are a beacon for those seeking truth in the shadows of mainstream narratives. So, as we reflect on what's been shared, let's not only appreciate the boldness of his message, but also the hope it carries. Remember.
But this cat guy is smart. Cat Williams, he knows what he's talking about, except some parts, obviously. But this guy is smart. So the US, if you're in the US right now, understand that you're in a place where everything's easy. That's the first thing. Everything is easy, bro. But at the same time, you are in the land of deception. So understand it's like you're actually within the land of the devil. And even though there are theories that say this is the Garden of Eden, it's the very first time when a sin happened and all that stuff, there are theories that talk about that. Do you have to believe in all of those? No, you don't need to believe in all of those. But there's just way too much symbolism. The fact that Apple is the biggest company and Apple is just like a bitten apple. The fact that even this whole Newtonian thing, an apple fell on my head and I discovered gravity, and now everybody's just deceived by gravity. They replaced the law of density, where this is more dense than air, with the law of gravity, which the only reason why they talked about the law of gravity is because they want you to believe that the sun is big and the earth is the one that is attracted to the sun because it's big. So big things, other things get attracted to it. That's the law of gravity that they talk about, by the way. And they want you to know that we're rotating around the sun because, again, Adam, as soon as Adam came, the devil is made from fire. The devil got mad at the fact that there is Adam. So Adam's made from clay, from earth. Devil is made from fire. Because he was mad at him, he's like, no, I'm going to change the entire creation to the point that the entire earth now rotates around the fire. When in reality, that's not the case. The sun is the one that rotates around the earth. Go outside and look at it. Use your eyes. Literally, bro, just use your eyes. Now you have all these things from authorities that tell you, oh, man, we're the ones that rotate around the sun. Look, here is all the proof that we have. All just a bunch of CGI stuff. Not a single real proof, by the way. Not a single real proof. And then you talk about the stars. The stars are not like actual planets that you can just go on. They're just stars. Like the planets, Mercury, Venus, Mars, all these things, they're just planets that you see. They're just stars that you see, all, like in the sky, as decoration. That's what Allah says, as decoration. So you can't even go. You literally can't even go to Mars. You can use it for guidance, but you can't use it to like exit and then go on it. That's impossible. That's impossible, bro. So this stuff, you might think, why is there a point for me to go and learn this stuff? Why is there a point for me to go and do this stuff? Just pray your salah, do good, and that's it. Okay, but if you're only going to be praying your salah, do good, and that's it, you're still bombarded with all these things. Your kids are going to be growing up. They don't know that, hold on, there's actually an evil that's been going on. All this transgenderism stuff, the satanic stuff, the song stuff, the movie stuff, the food stuff, the clothes stuff, literally everything, the air that you're breathing is coming from this stuff. It makes you think it's like there is literally an evil, and this evil is not something far away. This evil is literally in my house. It's in my house. So don't know, if I don't know that there is an evil in my house, how am I going to protect my family? How am I going to protect myself? How am I going to protect my prayer? Because if you're only thinking pray, do good, and that's it, and then go to heaven and that stuff, how are you going to be protecting your prayer? You're going to be praying, and then you wonder, it's like, why do I not have khushu' in my prayer? Why do I not have like just focus on my prayer? Why am I not feeling the prayer? Why? Because think about what's been happening in your day-to-day life. Every single time, every single moment, you're constantly being deceived. And if you don't know this stuff, you'll keep being deceived. And your entire prayer is just going to be physical motion. That's it. And you wonder, oh, why am I not praying properly? Why am I not feeling connected to Allah? It's because of this, bro. You're constantly being told, you're constantly worshiping the devil without you even knowing that you're worshiping the devil. This is why this stuff is important. Now, why did they chop off the noses of the pharaohs? It's not because they're trying to hide the fact that they were black. They were probably trying to hide some different thing that we still don't even know about. So that's the thing. These people take the good message from them, but leave the bad, bro. Egyptians are Africans. This is a known fact.